Yes, yes, we are given a specific time period. Typically in a cosmos program, we have periods last for about 37 minutes. So you have to make maximum out of this. Anything else? Exactly. So the audience, if you present something in an organized manner, it's easy for the audience to understand, because at the end of the day, the objective is to communicate something so the audience can take it. For these reasons, if you present something in an organized manner, it helps the presenter as well as the audience in different. For the audience, obviously, they can take something more easily, which is to comprehend and understand. For the presenter, it's easy to remember points. So he or she does not really have depending on any notes, it automatically flows. So that is why speech organization is very much important. Let's look at the basic components of speech. There are three components in main. You have opening, which you typically start with the opening. It's about 10% of your speech. And you have the body,
Aruna, sit.
which is the main idea.
Sit.
The meat of the speech. And finally, you end the speech with the conclusion. So typically, if you allocate your time, roughly about 10% of the time spends for the opening, and about 80% spend on the body, and the last 10% spend on the conclusion. This is typically how you allocate time on your speech. And if you look at the body, before coming there, when you prepare your speech, where do you start? This is a question that most of us have. Even though it follows this order, where do you start? The speech idea, where is coming? Sorry? Past experience. So, my question is it you first think about the operations or the audience will be okay? So that is when you deliver. My question is, when you prepare your thought process, why you say you think about the opening first, or the conclusion first, or you think about the body? Yes, it is recommended always to think about the body, the main idea, theme of your speech.
Aruna,
Say for example now,
pictures ke done.
let's say we are going to talk about the accidents, road accident in Sri Lanka.
So bit ke na.
So that could be your main point. This is the main idea. You will cover a period of time at some point. So typically you first think about the main idea, the theme that you are going to present. So like for example the road accident, you are going to talk about that. Then what other points that you can bring into the table? What other points that you can bring into the table? Typically, our time is limited. So, what is recommended is to bring anything between 2 to 5 points. 3 would be optimum. 3 would be ideal. So, first, we have with the theme, main idea or the theme. Then, think about 2 or 3 associated points that you can talk about. Now, if I take an example of, we are going to talk about road accident. What are the points that you can bring into this table for the speech? One component probably you may sort of give an overview about the statistics, type of accidents that happens in Sri Lanka. Probably you may be this kind of fatalities occur. Each hour this many accidents do occur in Sri Lanka. So like by some kind of statistical evidence would help. So that would be one point in your speech. So that is one main point. So we know out of 3 we have already chosen one. Second it would be the reasons for accidents. So we talk about the statistics, the one main point. Then another point would be the reason. Drunk driving, fast driving, you don't maintain your vehicles properly. So it's another category. So you talk about the main idea is you are going to talk about the accidents. Then you spoke about the statistics. So the audience has an idea about the gravity of it. Then you are going to talk about the other point is you are going to talk about the causes for the accidents. A third point would be,
అవునా
you may talk about something related to legislation.
ఉందా ఉందా ఇది అప్పుడు మీకు అప్లోడ్ చేయాలి
Or you may sort of take another step and talk about how to prevent road accidents. Few tips. Now, for a 5 to 7 minutes speech, you have enough material. Talk about speakers. The main idea is accidents. When you talk about the first main point is the statistical part of it. The second point would be the causes of accident. Another point would be the legislative part of it. Or it would be something related to how to prevent accidents. So now we have main points. We talk about the main theme. List down the main points. Then may you expand. You will bring statistics, the example, etc. to the picture. Now, at this point, you have enough material to develop the body of the speech. Now, the next question is, how do you present? How do you present? Now, you have ideas, statistics, example, etc. How are you going to present it? In a logical or organized manner. There are different ways. The one way to organize or present fact is that you may present in the order in which it happens. Typically, when you do ice-breaking speech, you typically follow this format. Start with your childhood, then probably you may talk about your education, school days, then you talk about your university, career, then the family, so on and so forth. So that is, you follow a sort of a timeline. You start with your childhood and proceeds towards your better part of your life. That is one format that you can follow. Typically in an icebreaker speech, you can follow this format. The other one is spatial. That is, I have given a direction to somebody. How do you give it? If somebody wants to know the direction to go to a particular place, say for example from this place, Royal College, you want to go to, let's say, National Hospital. How do you go the directions? Yes, you tell him, look, you need to turn right from this particular junction, go straight, and give him a location, turn left from a particular location, again go straight, tell him a particular milestone, turn right, like you give him instruction in a sequential manner. Typically when you present how to assemble something, how to prepare a dish, how to give direction, you can follow this one. It's not a time dependent, but it is a way in which you may sort of follow instructions. That is another way. Third way would be the cause and effects. You first highlight the cause and effect of it. Probably when you talk about accidents, you may say, look, the roads are heavily congested. So the average speeds come down to below 10 kilometers an hour in Kalam, which means everybody has to rush. The effect is, that is cause and effect. You may follow that approach as cause and effect. So typically when you deliver sort of technical skills, or probably you may talk about some, you want to present some finding of scientific research or something, you may use this method, cause and effect. And also another method is the problem and the solution. You highlight the problem and the answer. Highlight the problem, then the answer. Especially when you talk about this speech on accident. You may have to sort of, then we said, okay, one main point would be the causes of the accident. Another main point to be highlighted is how do you prevent that. So probably you may say the problem is that most of the drivers are stressed. So they don't have enough rest. That is the problem. The solution is that allow drivers to make breaks between the drive, 10-15 minutes drive. Have music. You highlighted the problem and you give a solution in it. So these are the ways to sort of connect the points of each from one point to another point. Any questions on this point? Right. So now we have identified the components of a speech. You know, there's something called opening, there's something called body, and there's something called conclusion. And we also know now how to logically arrange it. Now let us look at how can we move from one point to another. In PowerPoint, how do you do it? When you want to move from one slide to another, just click this. So in speeches also there are techniques like that. You can move from one point to another. The first one is we call it transition. I just did that. We have studied about PowerPoint, body and conclusion. Now let us look at how can you transit from one point to another. That's how you connect from one point to another. That is one method. Transition. You may use particular phrases to transit from one idea to another. That is one method. I have just did that. Second method is this method called internal preview. What does that mean? We are going to tell the audience, look, I'm going to talk about these 5 things in the next few minutes. Let's say, for example, if you talk about objective settings, we know objective has to be smart, specific, measurable, attainable, right. So, when you are going to present about that topic, you may say, look, objective has to be smart, specific, measurable, attainable. You mention that. Then you may start with the smart. What is specific? Then what is measurable? The next point could be what is attainable. So like you first tell the audience you are going to talk about characteristics which is known as smart. Then you may keep on explaining those. So you told the audience you are going to talk about these 5 things in advance. Another method is internal summary, which is the reverse of the previous one. You may first spoke about the specific, measurable, attainable, etc. Then at the end of the day, we spoke about 5 things, which is known as SMART. This is for audience to review what has already happened. We use either of these approaches. And finally, signposts. This can be done when you are sort of presenting 3 or 4 things. The first point, then you go and present. Then you go to a different place and point number 3. Second, third point, and fourth. Likewise, you may use that. So audience will relate your point with your body language. And also you need to keep in mind, when you say first point, you cannot make this decision. And most of the time, our speakers do make this mistake. If it is third point, it has to be 3, not 4. That's something you need to be really careful when you are using this particular thing. Now we know how to sort of introduce body, conclusion, and how to arrange them in a logical manner, as well as how to transit from one to another. There are 2 components left. We talk about the bodies. Introduction, the open. The first 10% of your speech. I would also say this is the most important thing. So once you build the body, you will have to start with a strong attention grabbing open. Why it is important? Why it is important? So we need to get the attention of the audience. What are the ways? As you corrected it, you came up with a nice thought. People do ask questions. So especially when you are talking about accidents, you may predict a photograph with a fatal accident. Speakers do so. For example, sometimes you need to sort of, you really want to speak the hearts of the audience. You may sort of predict a photograph of a child. Probably not with a story, but that's happened to this child because of the speed driving, something like that. So Those are the very, there are a couple of methods. You may use a story, you may ask questions, project a video, or project a story, or even a photograph would be. So that will enable for you to grab the attention of the audience. And through delivery of presentation, we know the body, main points, sub points, etc. You come to the end of the speech. The last 10% of your speech, which is known as a conclusion. What do you expect from a conclusion? You grab the attention of the audience, you deliver your message. What do you expect from a conclusion? Summarize, re-establish your message, probably call to action. There's something called call to action. In advertising, so look at an advertisement. At the end of each and every advertisement, you watch very carefully. There is something that the customer has to do. Dial a phone number, do something, this, that, there's something, there's call to action, which enable the audience to remember your point. So there should be some element which is strong enough to remember the speech. Probably we summarize everything. Call to action. Probably you may end your accident speech saying, how many of you wear seat belts when you walk out from this room? That could be a call to action. Something like that. Will you consume liquor and drive hereafter? Could be a call to action. Open-ended statement. So that could be a very strong conclusion. So in effect, a body is the most important thing. You typically start with the preparation of a body. You have a main point, sub point. You may use different methods to logically organize that. You may use certain techniques to transit from one point to another. Then, once you prepare your body, have a strong opening, which is attention getting, and have a strong conclusion. And your speech is going to be a memorable one. Okay.